You know what I hate most about making videos, or at least videos that involve a camera and a separate audio source, is syncing up the audio. And then by the time I get the separate audio source working, or turned on at least, the camera will go, oh, power saving mode, good night, and then it shuts off and resets the zoom and the focus and everything else. Fuck you, camera. Anyway. um, let's move the mic slightly. There we go. I just wanted to talk to you guys about something fairly serious. I do apologise for the unshavenness and the untidiness here, but this is something that I saw a lot while I wasn't really able to get on the internet, and it's something I wanted to chime in about. Not to mention, it's something that I was actually talking to my buddy Toby about last night or the night before, and I just feel like I really should say something about it. Now, for those of you who don't know, Toby Turner, Tobuscus, he had some, or has had some rape allegations made against him by someone who hasn't bothered to go to the police about them. Which that immediately leads me to believe that the rape allegations are false. I mean, the drug use and stuff like that, that's almost public knowledge that Toby Turner is into that kind of thing. But raping someone, nah, it really it doesn't make any sense to me at all. Now, unfortunately, false rape allegations do happen. And they happened to me a good number of years ago now. I mean, this is 2016. This happened in 2004, 2005, something like that. Now, there was this girl. We shall call her Emma. Not her real name, of course. She was in sort of our group of friends. And I was totally oblivious to the fact that she was attracted to me. I genuinely had no idea. What she didn't know, and what at the time my group of friends didn't know, was that I'm gay. People in the online world knew about it, and a couple of people outside, out in the real world, knew about it. Not very many. I was very, very closeted at the time. Although closeted as I was in a relationship. Weird. Anyway, I was totally oblivious to the fact that that Emma. I actually really struggled to remember the false name I'd given her a second ago there, and nearly called her by her real name. I was totally oblivious to the fact that she was attracted to me. A few of my friends weren't. Like, they obviously picked up on something that I hadn't picked up on. They were like, you should ask her out, you should do this and do that, and go out on a date with her and have sex with her, and my god, I would give anything to be in your shoes, that kind of thing. And I was like, god, guys, just wow. Well, I even said to them, that she's not attracted to me. It's not going to make a scrap of difference whether I am or not. She's not interested in me. Well, it turned out I was wrong. She came to our front door one day. She turned up with this letter, which I've still got somewhere, actually. I don't know where, and I know it's around here somewhere. But she turns up with this letter, and she's like, "Oh, would you mind reading this?" Like, yeah, no problem. Look. Is it okay if I read it later? With hindsight, I should have really spotted it before that. She would quite often come around to my home, and she'd sit there while I did like the ironing, or she'd help me cook, stuff like that, And I should have spotted it. I didn't. But with 2020 hindsight, It's like, how could I have been so blind? Anyway, I said, yeah, no problem, but can I read it later? Because at this point, someone doesn't just turn up at your door with a letter for you from them without it being something that, they've wanted to get off their chest for a while, and without it being something that potentially they might find a little bit embarrassing. So I was like, yeah, I'll read it later if you don't mind. And sort of that was that. We watched a couple of DVDs, and she went away. Well, that's when I opened the letter. I was like, I waved her goodbye. We shut the door. It's like, oh yeah, there's this letter still sitting on the coffee table. So I open it up, and it's a confession of her feelings for me, which was quite humbling, actually. At that point, believe it or not, I'd never had somebody just completely spill their guts out like that to me. Least of all on 6 sides of A4. That I had to turn it down, and I had to say, I'm already in a relationship. I'm sorry. All the best for the future, kind of thing. Weren't really my exact words, but the general gist of what I said. Anyway, nothing much really happened. Beyond that, we went to sort of parties of mutual friends, birthday parties, warm point, an engagement party, that kind of thing. So I didn't really think too much of it. Like, she'd been rejected, and she just got on and gone on to other things. This was what I thought. She did end up getting pregnant by, and ultimately I think getting married to, somebody in our mutual group of friends. And I was like, oh well, great. This is good news. On so many levels, this is good news. So that marriage was, I would say, 2 years later, maybe. And that's a quick relationship, but that's how things go sometimes. So all of a sudden, one day, I'm going through, like, the what's the word, hallways at uni, and I get, like, shoulder barged by someone. This hasn't happened in years. I thought I got past that kind of thing in high school. So I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm looking behind me, and the guy's just like, hey, you dirty rapist. It's like, what? Oh, whatever. Fuck you. I don't know who the guy is. Case of mistaken identity. Fuck him. But over the course of, like, the next couple of days and weeks, my friends, like all of my friends, stopped talking to me. People, like, my texts would go unanswered. Twitter wasn't really a thing at the time. It existed, I think it existed, but it still wasn't really a thing. Facebook, I think, was just coming into existence. MySpace had been around for a little bit. I think I might be getting my timelines and my social networks mixed up there. Whatever. But people were starting to ignore me. Something was wrong, and stuff started to happen. We were getting stuff thrown at the house. I got back to my car on one occasion to find all 4 tires destroyed. It was just it was just horrible, and that really was just the tip of the iceberg. I was getting physically attacked. I was getting spat on. I was just having people randomly coming up and punching me, all for no apparent good reason. So what the fuck's going on here? And to boot, although I think this was probably unrelated, I got mugged during that time as well. Although I'm pretty sure that wasn't actually related to what had happened. I was just like totally dumbfounded. I was just getting randomly attacked for no good reason. None of my friends seemed to want to know what the hell's going on. The one or two that were still talking to me, one of them eventually said, you genuinely have no idea what you've done, do you? I was like, huh? Like, no. Please tell me. And he goes, well, you tell me. Why did you rape Emma? I was like, what? What are you talking about? I've never touched her. What are you on about? What? So that's when I started putting 2 and 2 together and getting 4. Everybody thought that I'd raped this girl, and someone, who I very quickly found out to be Emma, had gone around telling everyone about how I'd raped her and the things that I had done, and just all this really, really horrible stuff. And the worst part is the people that I called my friends at the time, they didn't, like, they just blindly believed her. They thought that I was capable of doing such a thing. Needless to say, those people, I don't even speak to those people these days. We have mysteriously fallen out of touch, even though some of them don't actually live very far from here, or at least last I checked. So at this point, I'm going through a pretty hellish situation. Things are just escalating and getting worse. The attacks are becoming more and more frequent. I'm no longer driving my car to uni. I'm having to get the bus because every time I drive my car to the university, something happens, usually, thankfully, to the tires, which are at least easily replaced, or at least, on the very lowest end of the attacks on my car scale, easily reinflated. But it is a good job that the uni was near a quick fit. I think the RAC pretty well got sick and tired of being called out to me saying, hey, my tires have been slashed. Can you come and pick me up and tow me to quick fit? And yeah. Oh, excuse me. Anyway, like I said, things were getting worse. The attacks on me, on my property, and on the people that was, the 1 or 2 people that were sticking by me, were just getting worse and worse and worse with each day that passed. Eventually, it all came to a head. We were on the quad at uni, and me and Emma walked past each other. She's absolutely surrounded by her friends. So at this point, they all just kind of circle around me. Now, I don't think this was a deliberate, what's the word? Oh God, what word am I thinking of? They didn't actively seek me out. This was just a chance encounter. She happened to be with a group of friends. I happened to be on my own. We both happened to be walking past each other. It was just a chain of unfortunate events. They all circled around me, like pushing and punching me and all this rubbish. And they're telling me that I'm a rapist, and they were demanding that I apologize to her and all this. And eventually I said, like, I can't apologize for something I didn't do. Or no, I didn't say I can't apologize. I said I'm not going to apologize for something that I didn't do. Because why the hell should I? I never touched the girl. Why should I apologize for raping her? That would just be crazy. Not to mention that if I'd apologized to her, even though it would have been a false apology, if I'd apologized to her, people would have taken that as a confession, and things would have just got considerably worse. So that wasn't going to happen. Anyway, this forced me out. I don't mean it forced me out of uni or anything like that. That it forced me to out myself as a homosexual. Just clip the mics down there. So it forced me to say to everybody, look, I didn't touch her. I wouldn't touch her. I'm gay. This is all, I think, revenge for me turning her down. At which point, I pulled out my phone, very, very early camera phone, but it still took 3-megapixel pictures, and you could still see the pictures in color on a screen this big. It was for anybody interested, it was a Sony Ericsson W810i. I've still got the phone somewhere. It's a house brick, but it's also as strong as a house brick. So I took out my phone and I started scrolling through the pictures that showed me and my boyfriend at the time together, kissing and a few other things. So, well, yeah, being gay is not proof that you didn't do something, but it stands to reason. Why would a gay guy rape a woman? It just doesn't. It just doesn't make any sense. And I then said to her, now I remember my words exactly here. As I'm retelling this story, I'm picturing this scene right here in the in the forefront of my vision. And I'm not kidding you. I can barely see the camera. My exact words to her were, "If I raped you, go to the police. I will walk around to Wolverhampton Central Police Station with you right now. We'll go to the police. You can tell them that I raped you, and then they'll arrest me. They'll take DNA. They'll take your statement. They'll interview me, and the truth will come out." We didn't go to the police station that day. Truth be told, I actually lived with the worry for a good year that the police were going to come knocking on the door. They never did. At least not about that. They never came knocking. Not once. She never went to the police. And I believe she never went to the police because she knew that the case wouldn't last 5 minutes. But still, the fact that she didn't go to the police, it says a lot. But the problem was the false rape allegations happened. They didn't happen they didn't reach West Midlands Police, but they happened. There are still people to this day who believe that I raped her, and I'm completely innocent. It's absolutely horrifying. And the problem that Toby Turner faces is that the internet is a global audience, and he has a global audience. Not to mention a couple of the sort of third wave contemporary campus feminists picked up on this as well. The trigger warning crowd, and the people who are who think that a man holding the lift door for them is sexism, and these people should be, they feel that they're being downtrodden by these people. Unfortunately for Toby, those people have picked up on this. I should actually point out, I mentioned I was talking with my friend Toby like right at the start of this video. That is not Toby Turner. That is So Totally Toby. Different Toby altogether. I think he gets sick and tired of them two being mixed up. Yeah. So you know, to him, it's a global audience paying attention to this. Now, admittedly, yes, some of that global audience, myself included, are trying to be supportive where we can. We know that this didn't happen because, again, April hasn't gone to the police about this. She posted it on Twitter, which pretty much destroys any, if it goes to court, it's going to destroy any jury because of the size of the audience that just Tobuscus on his own has. I think April as well has a fairly large audience as well, but sort of independent of their two audiences, people who don't know who either one of these two people are hearing about this, and then they're looking up like, oh well, who's this Tobuscus person? Who's this April F person? I didn't know who April was until I'd heard about these false rape allegations. So, that in itself is going to destroy any jury, because the jury potentially could have made their minds up before they've even got into the courtroom and heard either side of the case. So posting that kind of thing on Twitter was not really the brightest of ideas. She should have gone to the police if the allegations are true. I don't believe the allegations are true. There is something that I have seen recently where, again, the person who is accusing someone, and actually the person that's being accused of something else, actually somebody that I know, and you know what, I believe that they actually did do it because I've seen the evidence. But that's by the by. That has been posted on social media as well. That I believe was the wrong thing to do. I am not going to comment on it at the moment. We're going to have to see how things pan out with that one. Different story. Yeah. So, yeah, as I was saying, her posting that to Tumblr was like a really, really stupid thing. My own personal thought, or personal feelings rather, is that the rape never happened. He may have encouraged her to take drugs. I don't know. But I don't think the rape ever happened. I think that she's just sort of gone like, oh, Tobuscus is really famous. I want to get in on, that and have some of what he has. Or even, Jilted X just wants to completely destroy the guy. I have no idea. So I'm going to post this rape allegation. I'm going to tag Toby Turner or Tobuscus and every other form of his name, Toby Games, Toby Music, that kind of stuff, in the Tumblr tags. People will see this. People will pick up on it. And she obviously also put other tags in, like, rape, trigger warning, feminism, and that kind of crap. And then I'm just going to completely destroy the guy. I'm going to publicly destroy him, and the world will see him for what I want them to believe that he is. This is my own thoughts, at least. That's what I reckon was going through her head. Now, she has, thankfully, suffered some backlash on Tumblr, Twitter, Reddit. I've actually been inadvertently part of that. I posted on Twitter something like, so at April F, have you got any evidence to these rape claims? And she's showing these screenshots of text messages from like iOS 6, because there's no possible way that they could have been faked. iOS Is iOS 6? It might have been iOS 7. But the new version of iOS is considerably more difficult to fake text on, because there's no just sort of online generators for it. You would have to go into, Photoshop, or hell, you could do it in Microsoft Paint if you wanted to, but you'd have to go into Photoshop and sort of manually make the blue or green bubbles for the inbound messages and the grey bubbles for the outbound messages. So yeah, I believe those messages that she's posted are faked because they're shown on an older iOS operating system. If she's still got the screenshots, it stands to reason that she may actually still have the text messages. So why doesn't she go back onto the phone and pull some more up-to-date screenshots? Basically, I mean, it's not difficult. Where's my phone? I have no idea. I would hold it up to the camera and show how easy it is. Hey, screenshot this. I don't know where I put my phone. So yeah, Tobuscus's false rape allegations. That's pretty bad. And now you know the story of what happened to me. The attacks on me have pretty well come to a stop now. I've not had my car damaged, or anything thrown at the house, or been attacked on the street in long time. Thank God. So yeah, that particular chapter of my life is closed. To anybody considering doing that kind of thing, to anybody considering making a false rape allegation, whether it's against Tobuscus, whether it's against me, whether it's against anybody else, just don't do it. Really, I implore you, don't do it, because you have the potential to ruin two people's lives. One is the person who you are making the I know I keep looking at my watch, I do apologize. One is the person who you are making the false allegation against, right? Potentially, you probably don't like this person, right? Now it's fine not to like someone, it's fine to hate someone, but could you really live with yourself if they do something like kill themselves? Because this kind of thing, it does result in suicides. So you have the potential to ruin their life. You also have the potential to ruin your life. You will absolutely destroy any credibility you have if you are found out to have made a false accusation for this kind of thing. If you're discovered, nobody will ever believe you again. And it kind of becomes the story of the boy who cried wolf. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is, look it up. But the basic version is that there was a young shepherd boy or something like that. He wanted attention. He was guarding people's sheep, and at night he kept saying, wolf, wolf, wolf. And then all the townspeople would come, and they would discover there was no wolf there. Well, after so many times of him doing this, nobody believed him. When there genuinely was a wolf there, he cried wolf, nobody came. Wolf attacked him, killed him. At least that's the version of the story that I know. Yeah, it's an extreme version. I don't think anybody's going to get killed over false rape allegations, but or at least not the person who's making them. The bottom line, as I said just now, if you're planning on doing something like that, just don't. If you do, I hope you get found out, and you will deserve all the bad shit that happens to you. It's people who do that kind of thing, in my opinion, they are the absolute 100% scum of the earth. And all the negativity that comes their way, they deserve. Anyway, that's all I have to say on the subject. Now you all know a little bit more about me as well. For one, you know that I'm not a particularly tidy person. You know a story of what happened while I was at uni. You know how I dealt with it. Hopefully this prevents something like this from happening again. Or, you know, stupid helicopter, go away. You know, if I can't prevent it, hopefully it helps someone who has had it happen to them. That's all I have to say on the subject. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you on the next one.